So I was asked to tell my life story, right? And I didn't really know how this would go. But when I started talking about it, I was like, hey, let me call you back so I can make a YouTube video. So let me share this with my followers. So, getting into the life of Rosie. When I was younger, I saw fights all the time. My parents were married my whole childhood, but it was very much toxic. I don't even like throwing people's business out there, but this is my life. I have to explain my life in order to get over the things that made me me. So, no disrespect to anybody who I have to address in order to explain my life because I love all of y'all. I have no issues with anyone. My heart is clean. But let's get into it. Like I said, my parents were married my whole life, but it was very much toxic. My dad was an alcoholic and recovering drug addict, but he was on and off drugs my whole childhood, and he was very much abusive. It's my mom and us. He wasn't the punch you in the face abusive, but he'll choke somebody up, he'll throw somebody up against a wall, and his words would cut you to where you would wish he would have just hit you instead of saying what he said. And both of my parents, my mom also became an alcoholic dealing with my dad, to the point that she had to be institutionalized a couple times. My dad as well, institutionalized a couple times because his drug use made him to a point where he developed bipolar and like borderline schizophrenia because of all the stuff he used to do to himself. Growing up with a father with mental health issues was very difficult. I very much stayed out of the way. There was 5 of us in the house. My dad had 4 kids out of wedlock, but 5 kids with my mom. Only one of his kids out of wedlock never came around because the mom was mad that my dad didn't choose her. I have an older sister that's halfway that I've never met. Her name is Cece, but I'm friends with her on Facebook. Hey, Cece. Outside of that, I was always the one who stayed away. Like, we all tried to find our little escapes, but we would do theater at home. Like, that was something that we all enjoyed. Because my mom used to have us watching stuff like The Sound of Music and Dreamgirls and Temptations. Like, we loved stuff like that. So we would like the whole Destiny Child album. We made dances to all of them. Like, we would show the dances to our family members. We recorded ourselves doing talent shows that we planned the whole talent show out. We choreographed the whole talent show. Like, we used to do stuff like that, like big productions, like our version of big productions. Back before YouTube and shit was a thing, like back when we had to use a camcorder and then put it on a disc, like, for real. That's what we used to do. But I very much did that at school as well. I was on all the dance troupes. When I was in elementary, I was going to schools, I went to Jefferson, I went to Price Harris, I went to College Hill, I went to Washington. Those are all schools in the ghetto. But 5th grade through 10th grade, I went to Derby schools. Those are predominantly white schools in the suburbs. So I very much was sheltered because my mom didn't like letting us go anywhere. She didn't know who was going to do what to us because it's like, if your dad is crazy, anybody could be crazy. My daddy's whole side of the family crazy. I love y'all, but they crazy. So my mama didn't like letting us go nowhere. And my mom's whole side of the family, they crazy too. Everybody crazy, but it's just different levels of crazy. The daddy side of the family always got the highest level of crazy. The mama side of the family usually got the Jesus and the crazy, if that makes sense. So my mama didn't like us going around nobody. She didn't go around her family, so she kept us away from her family. And we only was around my daddy's family, and his family had a lot of issues. So I seen a lot of toxic stuff. And I always told myself that I would never put my kids through that. When I was 19, I met my first boyfriend, and I was in the process of, I was in college for theater. I had just turned down a 4-year scholarship to the American Musical and Dramatic Academy when I was 17. I was supposed to be living in Hollywood, going to school right by Disney Channel, right in the center of Hollywood on Hollywood Boulevard. I went to the school and everything. I auditioned at the school. I was in Hollywood, and I made it. I was supposed to go. I didn't go. So I stayed in Wichita, Kansas. Went to Wichita State University for theater for a couple years. Then I went to Eric Fisher Academy for cosmetology. And as I'm in Eric Fisher Academy, I start dating who turns out to be my husband. We're together for almost 7 years, and that went bad. He wound up being my dad. He was abusive. He was on and off drugs. Um, but he was a family man, so I stayed with him for so long because he helped me with my siblings' kids, with my friends' kids. He was the babysitter. He was a great person, like, but nobody knew what he was doing to me behind closed doors. Like, I always wore baggy clothes when I was with him because he used to give me body shots all the time, and not those type of body shots. Like, he would punch me all over my body. Every time I caught him cheating and say something to him about it, he wanted to jump on me and try to choke me. When he would choke me, my feet wouldn't even touch the ground. That's the type of choking he would do. So anyways, I leave him after we have our first child. Because I was told I was infertile. We had 4 miscarriages. And then, boom, we have our first child. I was sick that whole pregnancy, had her at 32 weeks, and he was cheating the whole time. After I had her, he's still cheating, so I leave him. Long story short, he tries to kill me. So I take my baby and go to a shelter, but I'm already dating another guy by this time. In the process of a divorce, wind up pregnant by someone else. Long story short, that guy moves in with me, and he's crazy too. He starts beating my ass while I'm pregnant. So I have a 6-month-old, and I'm pregnant, and I'm getting my ass beat every day and getting cheated on. And he wasn't just like running through the house like beating me up, but he was the type he'll threaten me all the time, or he'll pull out his gun and follow me around the house with his beam laughing, or he'll push me down the stairs. We stayed on the 3rd floor. If I'm walking down the stairs with groceries or walking up the stairs with groceries, he'd think it's funny to trick me while I'm pregnant. Like, he would do stuff like that. When I say he was beating my ass, he wasn't like beating my ass like that at first. After we have our first baby, he breaks my jaw while I'm driving. Comes back a couple weeks later, apologizes, gets me pregnant with our second child. Very much distant that whole pregnancy, but he does put his hands on me a couple times, like smack me in my face while I'm pregnant. But we weren't living together at that time because I moved in with my sister, because he had his mom and his sister living with us, but he was never there. So I let the electricity get cut off on purpose so everybody would move out. My cousin was my landlord. My cousin let me out of my lease for free. Just gave me a bill. So yeah, after I have that baby, he comes back like nothing ever happened. He comes back, he moves into my house, and gets me pregnant again. So me and him wind up having 3 kids very quickly. I went from 1 kid to 4 kids in 3 years. And long story short, after I have our 4th child, he becomes extremely abusive. Like, while I was pregnant with her, he already was hitting me a lot, punching me. He started punching me in my face. I say something he didn't like, punched me right in my face. He punched me in my mouth, punched me in my jaw, threatened to break my other jaw. He broke my jaw like 2.5 years ago. He still would bring that up all the time and threaten to break my other jaw. So, he's on drugs. I didn't know that at first, but by the time I find out he's on drugs, it's too late. We already have kids. Anyways, he starts stumping me. Like, when I say stumping me, I mean making noises like ugh, while he's kicking me with both feet and punching me with both hands. So he breaks my ribs. I call my mom and finally tell her what's going on. She calls the police. Long story short, me and my kids drive out of town while he's in jail. He's only in jail for 2 days. Disappeared with my kids to rebuild my life. It took me so long to be able to look myself in the mirror and not see failure. To be able to look myself in the mirror and not see exactly what I saw as a child. To be able to look myself in the mirror and not think that I failed my children. I left him in September. Oh no, in August. It was August or September, I don't remember, but either way, of 2021. It's almost March of 2022, so it's been about 6 months I've been gone. And I finally feel like I made the right choice. I finally feel like even though I stayed for so long, I left early enough because I could have been dead. I had just had a C-section 8 weeks before he stumped me. He says it like it's nothing, but this happened multiple times in 1 week. Like, he would get mad over anything. One time he got mad because I walked in the house with the kids and their fingers were cold. It's cold outside. So I'm holding McDonald's. He grabs the McDonald's from me and starts beating me in the head with the cups. Got soda all in my ear. He starts stumping me while I'm on the ground, punching me with both fists. My kids are just sitting right there. My daughter sits down and just starts picking the food up off the ground and eating it like nothing's happening. I'm sitting there getting stumped, and my kids are so used to it that they're acting like nothing's happening. And my oldest is sitting there looking like she's about to cry. He tells her she better get out of there. He's gonna hit her too. My son is just holding his ears like this, but he's not crying. My baby is in the room asleep. She don't see nothing. My 2-year-old, that's the one that was sitting there eating the food off the ground. She didn't care. Like, she was numb. And so that's when I realized I had to leave, because I'm like, my kids, like, this reminded me of me. Me and my siblings, at first we used to try to jump in when our parents would fight. We got to a point where one of my sisters tried to call the police, and the police showed up and she got in trouble for it. Then we got to a point where we would just go outside and play when they start fighting. Here they go with this crazy shit again. We just go outside and play. I looked at my kids and saw that. I was like, I can't do this. It took me a couple days. Through those couple days, I got stumped 3 more times. But it took me a couple of days to actually tell somebody. First person I called was my friend Shania. She was like, bitch, he's doing what to you? I'm about to come over there right now. Mind you, Shania looked like she couldn't be no more than 99 pounds. This girl is little. She didn't care. She's like, I'm on my way. I said, no, it's okay. I'm about to call somebody else. It's okay. I called my mama. She wasn't playing. She's like, okay, me and the police are on the way now. Like, what do you mean? She's like, come pick me up, and I'm gonna come to your house. Like, my mom has 2 phones. She called the police on her other phone, and I told him I was gonna go get him some cigarettes, because he said, go get me some cigarettes, bitch, and when you come back, I'm gonna whoop your ass again. So I left to go get him some cigarettes. I really bought the cigarettes. I'm on the phone with my mom, and she's like, are you really gonna go bring him those cigarettes? I said, Mom, what's he gonna do to me if I don't bring the cigarettes back? She said, what the fuck is he gonna do to you if you do bring them back? Come get me right now. I never thought of it like that. So I went to go pick her up, and then me and my mom met the police at the house. Police bring him downstairs. He starts cussing me out while he's handcuffed, telling me to go upstairs with my kids, calling me a dumb bitch. You got your ugly ass mama here. All this extra stuff he was saying. I was still scared. My mom's like, why are you scared, Rosemary? I was thinking he was gonna break out of the handcuffs. I was that scared of this dude. But yeah, so I called his mom and told her that he was in jail. She starts acting empathetic, but in all actuality, she's speaking with one of the girls he's cheating on me with, trying to figure out how to get his ass out of jail. Like, it was just so much going on. Like, he was a mistake. My kids weren't, but he was, because I was in the process of leaving my ex-husband, and he trapped me. He got me pregnant. I know he did it on purpose, because he told me, like, I was buying condoms. He was like, if you get pregnant, you just get pregnant. Then when I got pregnant, he got mad at me for being pregnant. It made sure he kept me pregnant all the time so he could do whatever he wanted to do. He trapped me. But I let myself get trapped, so that was my fault. So now, fast forward 6 months after I leave him, and now I'm working at a very high-end salon, Savvy Salon. I've been doing hair for years. I've done it freelance, which is basically where you do it on your own. I've done it out of my house. I've done it out of booth rent. I've also worked for people, worked for corporations, worked for a black salon, worked for barbershops. This is my favorite position. Um, I worked for some great shops, but they weren't for me. I didn't fit there. The Savvy Salon, I fit here. Like, these girls are like me. The owner acts like me. Like, we all are on money, no drama, just getting to the money and making sure that we help each other elevate. Even my boss's husband is like that. Like, we all are just cool. I really enjoy it. And I love my family so much. But I've been through so much toxic things that my life will never be normal if I stay around it. Like, to me, being happy is not normal. Like, I have nothing to stress about right now, and I still stress every day because I think about the past. I think about what I used to go through, and I still stress every day. Like, why? Why do I put myself through this? I should be happy. I am happy. I am. I exude radiance when I take pictures, when I record videos, but it's like when the camera goes off, I don't know how to live in that. I don't know how to live happy. I don't know how to accept the fact that I don't have to look over my shoulder anymore. I don't know how to accept the fact that I don't get punched in the face every time I say something. I don't know how to accept the fact that I don't get called out of my name all day, that my kids aren't getting abused. I don't know how to live with the fact that my life is okay. My guard is still up so high. I still second guess and triple guess and quadruple guess everything and everybody. Why? I don't know. Because I don't have to. I love God so much. I talk to God all day, every day. When I first came out here, I was just going to church and talking with positive people, not doing nothing but trying to get out of this shelter and trying to better my life. But now I'm actually living, right? I'm actually living. Like, I was working at a warehouse when I first moved out here. Now I'm working at a salon, a high-end salon. Like, I'm doing it. I'm doing exactly what I came out here to do, but it's just like, it don't feel like it's enough because I still don't know how to take care of me. My kids, taken care of. Always gonna be taken care of. My bills taken care of. Business taken care of. But me, I don't know how to take care of me because I've never been with anyone who takes care of me. I've always had to make sure that everybody around me was straight, and when it came to me, there was no energy left. I don't have energy for myself. Other people don't have energy for me, so I'm just always left behind. That's what I'm working on. I'm working on me. I'm working on fixing me. And I use all the support I could get, but at the end of the day, only God can help me. And I talk to him all the time. And I just really appreciate everybody for having positive vibes, positive energy when y'all do talk to me. Like, I got enough negative stuff going on in my head. I don't need negativity from anybody. I cancel out anything negative. If you want to be a positive light in my life, you can't bring negativity to me because I have enough negativity in my head already. I don't need no negativity added on to what I already have. And that's just real. So this is a look into the life of Rosie. This has been real. I'm on my way to bed in the middle of the night, got my kids in bed already, and I literally had to stop my conversation with my friend just to get on here and tell y'all what we were talking about. So I'm about to call my friend back. Y'all have a great night. Thank you for listening to me. I hope I was able to inspire somebody.